All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to talk about Game 6 of the NBA Finals. The series is tied 3-3. Pacers won the game last night, 108 to the Oklahoma City's 91. A thriller of a game. In what could have been a closeout game for the Oklahoma City Thunder, they could have taken the Larry O'Brien Trophy back to Oklahoma. They could not do it. Instead, they go back to Oklahoma empty handed and have 2 days, as of the recording of this video, to prepare for the penultimate, the final Game 7 of this NBA season. We're going to talk about Game 6. We're going to preview Game 7. You haven't previewed any of these NBA Finals games or any of these other playoff games because they're so hard to call. But Game 7 is important. We're going to preview it. We're going to talk about all these previous games that both these teams have played against each other in the finals. And yeah, it's a big, big video. If I sound overwhelmed, if I sound like giddy, it's because I am. This is going to be the first Game 7 in 9 years. You don't get anything much better than a win or go home, do or die situation in the NBA. Um, so yeah, if you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have any opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So yes, we're going to Game 7, baby. Game 7. Before we get to Game 7, we need to talk about Game 6. This game, and I said in a couple other videos, this game and these teams have learned so much about each other in 6 games because they only played each other twice in the regular season. Oklahoma City won both those games. One of them was out without Chet Holmgren, who was a huge part of what Oklahoma does. To be fair, he probably wouldn't have made a difference. And he probably hasn't made a difference in this series, according to a lot of people. Um, but both these teams have learned so much about each other. Last night was one of the most impressive, like cerebral performances by a team I've seen on another team that's been one of the most dominant by every metric in a while. The Pacers' defense was stifling. They ran such a intriguing offense, especially for somebody like me who loves who loves defense. I meant to say defense, defense, defense. They ran such an intricate defense um, that it genuinely blew my mind because, again, by every metric, by every offensive metric and some defensive metrics, this Oklahoma City Thunder team is one of the best in NBA history, just in history. Um, in no small part thanks to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who we'll talk about, but um, the way they were blitzing, the way they were not just trying to double Shea, but double anybody who had the ball, who could make any offensive motion or play or anything, was incredible. Um, in this game, Tyrese Halliburton was playing with a calf injury. It was reported after, um, I guess that Wednesday morning. Yeah, they got the full report back, the full MRI and everything. That Wednesday morning, um, after the video I put out about the game 5, um, it came out that the calf injury was pretty severe, and he had time to obviously be home in Indiana, get the treatment that he needed. And at the end of the day, it was up to him to play, and he decided to play. Um, he was not a huge factor on offense. He was almost a net neutral, just like wasn't bad, wasn't good. But he went out there. It was a do or die situation for the Pacers team, and they won. Talk about the defense they're playing just to get into it a little bit more. Again, the doubles they're running on are the doubles. That means sending 2 people on one Oklahoma City Thunder player. Um, was great. It was smart. Sometimes they would do it, sometimes they wouldn't. They would pick and choose who they would do it to. Um, the rebounding was great. If we're going to talk about defense, we need to talk about TJ McConnell, who had 4 steals on the night, 12 points, 6 assists, 9 rebounds in 24 minutes. Did not take any threes, did not need them. He was 6 of 12 overall from field goal. Um, he was a huge backbone to this Pacers defense and the way not only the defense would change when he was in the game, but the offense would change. It was absolutely incredible. Um, Watching TJ McConnell, I remember watching him on the Sixers when he was a 76er. And I was like, oh, he's a nice little pesky guy, you know. He gets in people's heads. You know, I never really saw him as like even like a little bit of an offensive punch. But man, oh man, in a do in a win in, if you in a how even oh my god, I'm stumbling over my words. In a game where if they lose, you go home. Your season is over. You stay home. You stay in Indiana, and they go home with the Larry O'Brien Trophy. TJ McConnell was the difference in this game. Um, Off the bench, I can't describe to you. There's a phrase going around. It's called a McConnell, right? And it's these steals from the inbound pass when the other team is trying to inbound the ball to get it to their ball handler and they go up the court. He just it's like he's done it so many times, second nature to him, where he sees the ball leave the person inbounding it, trying to get to the ball handler's hands, and he goes, "Poke, that's mine," and he just runs away with it. He uses little tiny legs and he runs away with it and he lays it up. Incredible, incredible stuff. Um, his defense, his sacrifice of his body on the offensive and defensive end, just barreling into the paint, getting in front of guys who are much bigger than him, falling on the ground, taking charges. I don't even know if he took a charge. It felt like he took a charge. He only had two personal fouls. He was a plus 10 in the plus minus category. Um, Best off the bench. Yeah, man. If we're gonna talk defense, we need to talk TJ McConnell, man, because he was big. He was huge this game for the Pacers. Um, the offense the Pacers was running was, I wouldn't say complex. I would just say different. They knew Tyrese wasn't 100%. They knew he couldn't do the things he normally does. At times, Tyrese was overpassing the ball. He only had one turnover, but it felt like, oh, I could get to my layup, but I got to pass it out. And sometimes it would lead to some brilliance of the ball going around a little bit more. Guys shooting shots they aren't necessarily comfortable with. To go through some of the stats, Andrew Nemhard 17, Aaron Nesmith 10, Pascal Siakam 16. Um, the whole starting lineup, only one turnover each. So that's five turnovers in the starting lineup total. Very good control of the ball, very good control of the game, because that's where the Oklahoma City Thunder will get you. When they force those turnovers, that's when they will get you. Um, Pascal Siakam 16, Aaron Nesmith 10, Miles Turner 3 wasn't effective. I'm still looking for him to hit those threes. Hopefully, it'll be in game 7. Um, Tyrese Halliburton 14. Obi Toppin. I don't know if I said this in one of my other videos. I think it was game 4 when they could have gone up 3-1. And he had a really good game. And I said, I don't know if you're gonna get another Obi Toppin game like this. You might have wasted the Obi Toppin game. And Obi Toppin has risen to the occasion. Um, I remember watching him getting drafted out of Dayton, Florida, playing for the Knicks, playing sort of an interesting role for the Knicks. He really didn't get a lot of playing time. Then they got Julius Randle, and then they were kind of redundant together, so they couldn't play together. And then they traded him to Indiana, like, oh, he's gonna go into Indiana. He's gonna just stay there, and his career is gonna be over because your career ends when you go to like a small market and you don't really do anything. And you don't develop your game. But man, this is Indiana. They love basketballs. They love guys like Obi Toppin. Um, Obi Toppin gave everything. He's tried to give it every night. 20 points, only one turnover, 6 rebounds, hit 4 threes out of 7 he took. Um, and hold on. And he was 6 of 12. He played 23 minutes. He was huge for them. Um, this was the game where you were like, oh, they shouldn't waste this game. And they didn't. They used it, they ran with it. Um, Super duper. It sounds so weird to say. I'm super proud of Obi from where he was and in New York to where he's now in Indiana, getting to play with a guy like Tyrese Halliburton, getting to play alongside Pascal, who's an NBA champion, a guy in Miles Turner, who's been the longest tenured pacer, knows what it's like to be in a redundant role, knows what it's like to be um, in those situations. For Obi to rise to the occasion. On the season, I mean, I don't even think he had that great of a season, like statistically wise. Um, yeah, 10 points, 4 assists, one, oh, four rebounds, 1 assist. Um, Nothing really to be like, oh my God, he's going to be a key on a finals team. But here he is being a key on the finals team. Um, I think I said this before, and I'll say it again. Rick Carlisle, the Pacers coach, out coaching Mark Dagnall is not surprising to me, but it's the little adjustments he makes. It's the way he pushes his guys. Because this whole Oklahoma City Thunder team has this nonchalant attitude. And granted, that works. It works, right? But when you're in these moments, you need to look. And I've said this before about many situations. You need to look yourself in the mirror and be like, we are not as good as we're supposed to be. We were supposed to go home with the Larry O'Brien Trophy, and we didn't. We failed. We cannot fail on Sunday. It is not possible. We cannot fail. And you have to go out there and kick this nonchalant attitude and really give a fuck. Because we'll talk about Oklahoma here in a second. I said this in my video. I forget what video it was. It feels like when this Oklahoma City Thunder team doesn't have their regular stuff going, doesn't faces some adversity, um, does this and does that, and oh, this isn't happening for us. We're down by 30. We're down by 20. When they aren't winning and they're up big and they can't do their little dances and they can't do all this extra stuff and they look really scared and they look really frightened and they look worried. On the bench, I was watching the bench a little bit. When they would zoom in, it was J Dub, Jalen Williams, and Shea. They didn't look worried, which was good, but they didn't look confident either. They looked like, oh man, we're losing this game. And you could see it set in, like they were like, oh, we could have gone home with it tonight. And I think it's something to watch. I mean, this team is so young. I said it right at the beginning. The only way the Pacers win this series, and I had picked Oklahoma to win this series. I wanted the Pacers to win, but I thought Oklahoma would be the overwhelming favorite. They would do it in 5 or 6, and now we're heading to Game 7. Um, the only way the Pacers would beat this Oklahoma City Thunder team, was with experience and with that 48 minutes of basketball that they have played all playoffs. That's how they got here. That's how they're going to end. Um, that's the only way they're going to win the series. And they might do it. And we'll talk about that in a minute. I do want to talk about one last thing about the Pacers. The Pacers crowd is insane. It's absolutely insane. Um, they talk about it's basketball everywhere else, but in Indiana, basketball is a religion. And man, do I believe it? In the year 2025, do I believe it? They always say that these things, and you just kind of have to experience it, and you have to see it with your own eyes. Like New York, the city that never sleeps, and then you're there late one night, and you're like, damn, they really do not sleep. The same amount of traffic, same people on bikes. It's the same thing. Same thing with Hollywood, I guess, in LA. You're like, oh, you just see celebrities walking around, and then you just see celebrities walking around. You just have to experience it, and it's so crazy. Indiana, Indiana doesn't win this game 6 if it isn't in Indiana. Because Indiana went crazy. Um, let's talk about Oklahoma. Wait, before we do, I just want to give TJ McConnell a little more praise here, just a little bit more, because TJ's grown on me so much. TJ McConnell, this is via StatMuse. It's a stat keeping, an advanced stat keeping resource, a website. TJ McConnell um, is the biggest reason the Pacers are alive in the series. He is the first bench player in NBA Finals history over the course of 6 games with 60 plus points, 25 plus assists, and 15 plus rebounds. He's the only player off the bench to do this in NBA Finals history since they've been keeping those stats. Crazy. Oklahoma. I have to look at Oklahoma and say one thing. What the hell happened? What happened? Um, I said this about the Pacers. I said, man, you have to treat you have to after they lost the last game. I said you have to look you have to the only thing in your mind has to be we cannot let them hoist up the Larry O'Brien trophy in our house. After that, it's fine. Game 7 is game 7, right? Um, the big person who is in a lot of people's crosshairs is Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren is, I think was he 20, he's 22, 23 maybe? He's 23. He's 23 years old. I'm older than him. Um, he has not played well these finals at all. If we go look at his other games, there's games of 9 points, 4 points, oh, nine, there's 9, 14, 15, 19. Oh, is that 9? No, wait. Pardon me. There's games of 6, um, 15, 20, 14, 9, and 4. Um, it hasn't been a great series for him, even when he gets 20 points, 15 plus points. Um, it's not on good efficiency. It's in garbage time. It is what it is. People are very upset at Chet because he's supposed to be part of the quote unquote big three, and I've been on his ass a lot these playoffs, these finals, I should say. I've been on Jalen Williams' ass as well, saying, "Where are you? You got to show me something." He showed me he could. He had a 40-point bomb, in Game 5, but um, Chad hasn't shown me that, and it's very concerning that you look at a guy like Chad, who's very young, very young, but you could say, "Oh, they aren't putting him in right positions. They aren't doing this." I would argue that Chet is not forceful enough, and there's not enough ball to go around for him, Jalen Williams, and Shea. Um, there is not enough. Um, there is enough for Shea and Jalen Williams, but once you get to Chet, he's got to get in where he fits in. And you can tell he's not completely comfortable with that. I think he's made, let's see how many threes he's made. Let's see, that's one. Don't tell me he's only made, okay, so he's made 2 threes. He's made 2 threes over the course of 6 games, and he's taken like 3 or more threes. Um, I'm going to be hard on him again. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It's plainly unacceptable. Um, I hate to be hyperbolic. I hate to always say this stuff. If you have 20, if you have 30, you go home with the Larry O'Brien trophy. You would have gone home with it. But guess what? You didn't. And you lost the game. You lost the game. Um, Not to harp on Chet Holmgren too much. Let's move on. Jalen Williams, 16 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 6 of 13, um, 0 threes made. Oklahoma did not have a good 3-point shooting night as a team. Um, yeah. And then you got Isaiah Hartenstein with 10. He had a couple good shots at the beginning of the game. Then, as the course of the game wound on, he kind of just fell out of the offense, and he didn't really do anything. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 turnovers. Like I said, the double teams um, the Pacers, pardon me, was stifling. It was crazy. It was smart. It was ballsy, but it worked. He played 31 minutes. Um, 7 of 15 overall from field goal, losing Dort 3 points. After that barrage in game, was it a barrage? Yeah, he made three of the six threes. He only made one of the five he took last night. With the night previous, um, he did not have it that night. Um, yeah, and then as it happens in a blowout, or I shouldn't say blowout, in a game where you have to play another game in a couple days, it's the deciding game. You pull a lot of your starters early in the fourth, and you let the other guys play. You had a other Jalen Williams, Jaylin Williams with 7 points. Um, Isaiah Joe with 11, who played a little bit in the course of the game, but wasn't really that impactful. Had the most points off the bench, I will say that. Usman Dang 3, Dylan Jones 4, Aaron Wiggins 5, Kason Wallace 2. Um, yeah, it was they only made 8 threes as a team. 8, and they took 30. Um, Pacers didn't do much better. They only made 15 out of 42, but they shot it at a way better clip, at 10% better than the than the than Oklahoma. That was the story for them. Because they hit some crazy threes to end the half, and then they carried it into the third, and then it was just so far out of reach at that point. They couldn't do it. And the Oklahoma's not a great 3 point shooting team, especially when Chet is not hitting his threes. He's the only floor spacing big on the team, and he's just been complete garbage. Um, I do want to talk about Game 7. I don't think I missed anything about the game. Anything else I saw? No. I do want to talk about Game 7. I want to talk about the games previous to this and what we could expect. One thing I did see on Twitter, though, which was hilariously funny but very astute, was I saw a tweet and it was like, Game 7s are scary because random, insert random role player can have 25 and just end your season, and your season's over. And I would totally agree with that. That's so freaking scary. It's so scary to be in that position, to be like, oh my God, let me go to the Pacers real quick. Aaron Neesmith could have 30. Miles Turner could have 30. Um, Obi Toppin could have 30. Benedict Mathurin could have 30. Ben Shepherd could have 30. On the Pacers, on the Oklahoma City side, Lou Dort could have 30. Alex Caruso could have 30. Alex Caruso only had 0 points this game. Damn, that's crazy. Um, Isaiah Joe could have 30. Kason Wallace could have 30. It could go both ways for each team. A random player could have 25 plus points, and it could just ruin your whole series. It could be over. So that's something to keep in mind for this um, Game 7 coming up here. Um, I'll say this. I've always doubted the Pacers. I doubted them until they got to the conference finals, and I was like, oh, they're going to beat the Knicks. I know they're going to beat the Knicks. And they did. Um, I doubted them in the first round. I doubted them in the second round. And then I didn't doubt them in the conference finals. And then when they got to the and when they got to the finals, I was like, oh, Oklahoma's such a better team by every metric. They're going to win in 5 or 6, right? And then, and now we're here. Game 7 situation. Um, I do not want to doubt them again. So for Game 7, I'm going to pick the Indiana Pacers. I think them winning Game 6 was a huge part of them. Them winning Game 6 was in huge part to their fans, but they did it in Game 1. One of some of the most hostile environments in NBA Finals games is Game 1 away and Game 7. I think they could capture some of what they've done what they did in Game 1. You have to call back to, um, what day is this? Um, you have to call back to June 5th, opening day for the finals, and you have to hope Tyrese's calf holds up. And I think you can do it. I genuinely think they can do it. Um, I think Oklahoma has only been in this situation once, and it was against the Denver Nuggets, and they won. They won pretty handily, actually. But the Pacers are not the Nuggets, and the Nuggets aren't the Pacers. I think the Pacers are the real deal. I have them winning on Sunday. Now, to talk about the last couple games they've played. Going back and forth here, going from game one up to game six. The Pacers won game one, 111 to Oklahoma City's 110. Um, then you had Oklahoma getting the W, 123. The Pacers 107, and you head to Indiana. Pacers got the win at home, 116. Oklahoma's 107, and Oklahoma beats Indiana in Indiana, 111 to Pacers 104. Then Oklahoma wins at home, 120 to Indiana's 1-9. And then we talked about game six. Um, I think the biggest component of these last of the games that, let's see here, that Oklahoma wins is that you have three people in double digits and you shoot at least 35% from three. I think that's the key here. Um, these games where you shoot 38%, though, are games where like Alex Caruso makes four. Um, I was just looking at one sample, so I was looking at another one here. Yeah, no, you need to at least shoot 35% from three. When Oklahoma wins these games by big margins, they no duh, you shoot more threes, just one more point than a 2-pointer. But the percentages say when they win games and they win them pretty handily, they shoot 35% or better from three. When I'm looking at it right here, right now, um, I think it's very important um, for Shea to be aggressive, but not overly aggressive. I know he's the MVP. I know he can score 40 points almost like it's nothing. But you look at the games Oklahoma City has lost, there's only three guys in double digits in the starting lineup. High double digits, I should say, like 15 plus. Um, this means, again, Chet, I'm calling on you, dog. Um, Anybody else on Oklahoma City, I'm calling for you, dog. Like, you need to really step up. Um, they, now there's a flip side to this. There's a game right here. This is game three in Indiana, I believe. Yeah, first game in Indiana. Oklahoma had three people with 20 plus points, and losing Dort had 12. They lost that game by, was that 9 points? So there's a give a little, there's a take a little. It's a game seven is going to be a lot of feel. If Shea can feel it out a little bit and find a healthy medium, and I'm not saying if he has like 30 in the first half, he shouldn't go for 50 and try to win the game. But you have to be very mindful of when it comes down the stretch. You've been in these situations where there's 1 second left, 2 seconds left, and Shea needs at least 2, 3 dribbles to get into his thing, to get into his motion, to shoot a good shot. If you're in that situation again, Shea needs to have these other guys going that can shoot a little bit faster, that can get into their motion a little bit quicker. Um, I'm really I'm I'm worried about this Oklahoma City Thunder team because again, they get in these situations where it isn't going their way. They're down big. Um, the regular stuff isn't working. They don't have a plan B. It really doesn't look like they have a plan B. A lot of their basketball devolves into I guess you need to take a shot, I need to take a shot, you need to take a shot, I need to take a shot. And that's it. Um, there's no ball movement, there's no plays, there's no nothing. Um, very concerning stuff. Very concerning stuff for Oklahoma. On the Pacers side here, again, I think it's so simple for the Pacers. It's 48 minutes of hard basketball. If you can get out to a big lead, get out to a big lead. Game sevens are so tough because your best player can become your worst player, and your okay player can just become Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like it's rough. It's a rough thing, and it's very hard to judge. And in the moment, it might not happen in the first half. It might not happen in the third quarter. Somebody in the fourth quarter could go off. I think the key for the Pacers is to do the exact same thing they've done in game one, which was if I call back on game one, there's one, two, three, four, five, six. There's six people with in double digit points. There's two people nearing 20 points, and they shot 46% from three. We go look at again the numbers for the Pacers um, from three. When they shoot at least, what is this, like 33%, they're in close games and they win a lot of these games. This is very numbers based, and I'm not even trying to call on the numbers like that. I'm just trying to give you the facts. But I think this series is just so tough. It has been tough, and it's so tough to call. And people were saying the series is gonna be boring. It's gonna be a 4 game sweep, 5 game sweep. No, um, this has been everything we didn't think it was. This has been everything. This has been MVP versus a team of shouldn't be here's. I think the most dangerous thing is that the Pacers have been doubted every time. And I was looking at the sports books. Um, Basically, when the game was over, the Pacers were like plus 200, plus 300, and Oklahoma was far and away the favorite to win the game. Um, and I think the Pacers might do it one more time. I think they have it in them. If they go down big, I'm not sure you can do it in game seven. I'm not sure you can get back in game seven because people try to play hero ball. They try to do all this extra stuff. I don't think they can do it. But if it's a competitive game, if it's anything like, let's say, even a game five, a game four, um, literally like a game four, a game three, Indiana might be able to do it. And we'll talk about the implications of Indiana winning it. We'll talk about the implications of Oklahoma winning it on Monday. I hope you guys found this entertaining. Um, Monday, game after the day after Sunday, is going to be the last NBA Finals game we talk about. It's been such a journey. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. All that good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, we're here, man. Game seven. It's gonna be fun. Uh, yeah, I will see you all on Monday. Uh, Thank you for watching. Cheers.